Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are working on something that you guys keep asking about, and to be quite frank, I've been wanting to work on it myself. So today, we've got the Land Lizard. The last time we worked on it, we got the front bumper all squared away, we got the winch installed, we got the grill mount in, front steering and axle all set up in there, we got the shock mounts. But today, we are gonna be working on tying in the rock sliders and the front fenders together. I've been thinking about it all week as I've been walking by it here in the shop, and I think I'm gonna go with some rectangle frame for the sliders. So these will basically sit up in there. I wanted to keep it so it kind of has like the original Land Cruiser step here, where it kind of flares out. So I think the way we're gonna do it is with the rectangle tube, and it's gonna work out great. So stay with us. I'm gonna get done cutting the second piece of it. So we're using some rectangle 2x4 3/16 thick frame rail. We're gonna get it cut up here in the bandsaw, and then we'll have two pieces. I'm gonna hold these up over there. I'll probably end up doing a miter of some sort on the ends and box it all in. And then moving forward, this will give us a great place to land our tube coming off of this going to the front fenders. And that will all make sense here shortly. Fluid if there's any, and we're ready to go. We've got Matt finishing up a chassis right now. This is a Sin City. It's going out to Ohio. You also noticed in this video this big frame table. So as y'all know, I love to build, and with that being said, I needed a heavier, beefier frame table, chassis table. We're gonna put a 1/2 inch thick plate on it, drill a bunch of holes on a 2-inch center, and all of our chassis from now on will be getting some new jig plates and features like that. So we're gonna be tying in the front fenders from this point all the way up, making a couple bends and dropping it right down on this slider. But first, we need to get these sliders mitered on the edges here. I wanna do a little slide, like a little angle cut pie here, and then we'll box that in. These will sit up here. But I'm also looking to maybe cut some of this body. I wanna cut probably 2 or 3 inches out of this body and bring it up as high as I can. There's a bunch of void under here. I mean, I can stick my whole hand all the way up in there, which means we could probably cut this body clear up to here. And y'all know, less body, better in the rocks, I'll tell you that. That's why you eventually get to a point where you're in a buggy. Then you ain't gotta worry about replacing panels. All right, so with all the technology we have today, you guys, I can come over here and sit down at my computer and pull up one of my programs that allows me to draw in what I'm building. So I can actually physically draw this all in and see what it's gonna look like before I cut stuff and go put it on the vehicle, which is just super cool. So as you can see here, I've got my rock slider drawn in as a 2x4 rectangle at 44 inches long. So now what I need to do is walk over to the car and get the slider put up into place, whether it's on jack stands, magnets, whatever. Hold this in place as if I was going to be mounting it. Then I can draw in and measure how far my frame is, and I'll get a second piece drawn in here with the frame rail. Then I can go ahead and make my tubes that attach, make sure all my notching's great, get these puppies cut out, and go ahead and make sure we get them all installed and welded up correctly. That's the most exciting part for me, is watching the dreams come true, you guys. So hang out while I get the machine fired up and get these drawn. So I've got the body marked pretty much right where I need it. It was 2 3/4 to the first thing I could find on the back side. So what I did is measured up 2 3/4 all the way along the body, made a straight line, and we're gonna get ready to rip it. That's gonna bring the rock sliders up 2 3/4 of an inch, which is huge, you guys. That gets you up out of the rocks, and then we'll kind of put a boat side to this thing. So I've got my 6-inch cutoff wheel ready to go. A lot of people call these a death trap, but I think they're the way to go. Got my line, gonna get set up here and make this cut. I like to wear a full face shield when I'm making these cuts, just because you don't know what's gonna go flying. Body line clear up, you guys, getting it out of the rocks, and then we're gonna throw this right up in there, tuck it up. That's what I call a highline body rise. So you can see right there, that will allow for our rock slider to sit up in there and jog all of our tubes right down to the frame. So pretty sweet. Hey guys, now that I got the edges cut where I wanted, 2 3/4 inch of material, that's quite a bit. So it gives us a really good high spot to put our rock slider. But now I'm gonna take the flap wheel, a 6-inch flap wheel, and I cut right below my line. That way now I can come in and fine tune it right up to my line, all the way down, cleaning the edge and giving us a nice place to work with. Now we got a perfect straight edge. Now we can get our rock slider put up in there and start taking measurements to the frame. So now that the body is all cut and ready to go, and we've got a really firm idea on how we're gonna do them, we've got Matt down here putting on the frame plate. So we've got a belly that we've already done in the previous videos. So we're gonna connect the frame plates on the outside to keep the tube work in line. So we're gonna have the tube work land on these frame plates coming up to the sliders. So he'll knock these out on both sides, and then we'll be able to get the final measurement on the tubes that connect it together. So check this out, you guys. When he was welding in the frame plates, we also went ahead and welded in all the holes on the frame. So he's gonna go through and grind this side. I've already gone through and grinded this side. Check out how clean that ends up being. So you can see the frame rail, plate, all the holes are welded in, and just ties everything in nice. So now, gonna get our sliders put into place, measure some tubes to the frame, draw it up in CAD, and have the dragon cut our parts. So just like that, I've got the pieces I need and the tubes to connect the frame to the sliders. I'm gonna clean those up and get them over to Matt. He's working on getting the frame cleaned up and the body line made where we need it. But check it out. Let me show you guys how I end up drawing this. So as you can see, I basically just drew in my frame rail here and my rock slider here. I took a measurement from rock slider to frame, height and distance, and my rise and run basically, and was able to draw that tube right in there. And as you can see, it lands on the frame rail about the middle of the frame, and right here on the 2x4 on the back of the slider, right there around it. So I cut 6 of those out. They were all exactly the same length, always good. So let me get these cleaned up, and we'll get those rock sliders hung. We first off need to go through and cut the rock sliders real quick. We're gonna do a 45 right on both ends of it, 45, 45, cap it. Then we will be ready to weld the sliders to the frame. It's always fun, so stay tuned and watch how we end up doing this. So the front end of this is all tied in and tight right here. And so Matt's working on getting the body over here. So the inner fender on the FJs actually held these two panels together. So just temporarily, we're gonna get something there to hold it together and get rid of the inner fender because we're not gonna use it anymore, right, Matt? Exactly. We're bundled up. It's about, what, 18 degrees in the shop today? The only way you stay warm is by moving, so every once in a while you'll catch us doing push-ups or jumping jacks just to keep warm here. Can't see your breath, so I was just lying. It's 44 degrees, not bad. I'm gonna put you guys right here and let you watch us do the madness. There you have it, all cleaned up, ready to go. I've built a ton of bodied rigs for the 4-wheel drive, off-road kind of stuff. They are super fun, super challenging, great time, and a good way to really use your noggin. But I've dissected these things so much that it's literally came down from big old rigs like this, pretty capable, this and that, to rigs just like this. And they accommodate just about everything that a full body rig can accommodate these days. Air compressors, a toolbox, lunch box for your food, backseat for kids. You can put a freaking heater in these buggies, you guys. So anyways, I can't emphasize enough to leave these 70s, 60s, and 50s vehicles alone and just drive them down the dirt roads. But until then, I'm gonna keep chopping them up. So Matt's getting the bandsaw set up over here at a 45, lines everything up, mark your marks, set it up, clamp it, and let it ride. So he'll finish getting these cut up, and then we'll be able to do everything all at once. So we ended up taking the rock sliders and just putting end caps on them right away. That way we can weld the whole thing, clean it all up appropriate, and be done with that part of it. That gives us a template on where we're gonna go. I centered it between the body basically and the height. We're gonna go a little tighter once we get the actual setup in there, but I'm trying to figure out the tube to slider and the distance we need on here. And the best way I've ever came up with is basically put the slider where you want it, take a square, and then you can mark your frame plates, center of your frame plate, and take your square and put it right on the frame plate. And then you can run that up to your thing, and that's exactly where my tube's gonna lie. So I'll do that on the front and the back one as well, and then we can flip this over on the table and know exactly where our tubes need to hit up. We also have tubes underneath the belly, and we're actually trying to keep these tubes all in line. So that's gonna help me do that by holding the square up here and transferring it over to the slider. This one's gotta be right under the jack, of course. So boom. We already got that one. And this one. That already looks so much better, having all the holes in the frame patched in and cleaned up. Just really makes the car look like a completed project. We got the front one here marked over. Which is pretty much the same as the other side. So then I'll just take this to the table. I've got my marks. So we've got mark 1, mark 2, mark 3. And I've taken this tube and I've just basically used this as a template to mark where the tube's gonna lie. I was looking at it as if I was standing in the passenger side of the vehicle. This would be the front, looking at the passenger side. The sliders have got to go down. So I'm gonna flip this over, indicating where our tubes are. Taking the 3 kickers we got here, and it's pretty apparent on which is top and center of that notch. I mean, as you spin it, it obviously rotates your tube. So super easy to basically walk over, circle it to the high point, and then we're gonna tack these here. Boom, boom, and boom. Once we get them tacked, we'll go dry fit them. If we love it, we'll bring it back, get them fully welded, take them back and tack it to the frame for the final time. So with that clamped down to the table, I'm gonna go ahead and hold these up and have Matt give us a tack of rulers. Basically, rest of the table, and just pulling it up until it matches my material, and then you can guarantee it's gonna match all the others. So, the motor tack is right there. We'll run it over here and just double check our fitment. Looks like we're titties, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this on the weld table and let Matt do his magic, burn on some beads. So now that we got this bad boy all welded up, this is a complete part. We're gonna go ahead and lock it in. And just like that, you guys, we've got a set of rock sliders custom built on the Land Cruiser. We ended up gaining about 3 inches of clearance, still keeping the same like look as the fender on the FJ. So Matt's gonna probably crawl under here and get to welding, and I'm gonna build a little kicker gusset right here. Put a little gusset underneath, that helps on it when it pulls up like this.
Alright guys, so I just got done welding all these, both sides of the sliders out, and turned out pretty sweet. So this one, it did end up pulling down a little bit. Honestly, I think that relief there looks just about the same as the other side. But here's the other side. I guess it does look just a little bit more excessive, but still not terrible. But yeah, she's all welded out, tied into the frame, and yeah.
Hey guys, we kind of got ahead of ourselves and went ahead and got measuring and designing some front fenders. They were quite the challenge, but with years of experience on measuring tube style things, cages and whatnot, building Jeep frames and cages, Land Cruisers, side-by-sides, you name it, we've done it. I went ahead and measured out these fenders. So let me take you over to the drawing board and show you what I came up with. Pretty rad. So as you can see right here, I'm on my Bentech program, and I've basically drawn in the rock slider, an edge of it. And then what I did is I measured out exactly where my frame rail was gonna be. So if you can see this, I had to mirror it, so there's drawn both ways. But if you look at this side, it is the driver side fenders. This is the frame rail, this is the rock slider, and I basically just done a bunch of math and measuring and figured out exactly where they could be. From there, I went and measured out where my tube needed to be. So once I've got the drawing figured out, I measured and mirrored the other way. So now we've got two different parts. If you look here, it shows just the driver side fender. So let me walk you over here and show you how they turned out. With 3 bends and a little bit of tube cleanup, we've got front fenders. They follow the body line, the fender trim, everything pretty much right on. And then I dipped it right down to the frame. So you can see there, it's all one piece, couple bends, compound, and got those matching side to side. So I left a little bit of gap on the body, that way if the body ever needs to come off, or you know, you end up hitting it, you can get the panels off and on fairly easy. We already made a grill mount here, but we are probably going to come in and make a tab or two that comes out right here and holds the fender as well. One here and one here. That will keep the fender all bolted to the tube fender, keeping everything pretty solid. Then we already knew it was coming, an engine cage. We had 2 shock hoops, and the only way to brace up shock hoops is to brace across the top. We all kind of know that. So I went ahead and drew it into the CAD. I measured shock hoop to shock hoop, which was 38.5 inches, drew 2 points, did all my other magic with the drawing, and came up with the shock hoop. So now we've got, the shock hoop is all tied in, the fenders are tied in, the bumper's tied in, and I think the front of this vehicle is just about there. So as soon as Matt gets done welding in some gussets on the 4-seater, he's gonna swing over and get these fenders all knocked out, the shocks knocked out, and weld it all down. We put these weld blankets in place so we don't burn or do anything like that, and keep everything protected as we burn. So pretty excited about this, you guys. The next step is the rear end. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about that, and I'm here to tell you. So the rear end in this currently is a Dana 60. It's subpar for the build, but we're gonna step it up and we're gonna replace it with a 14 bolt. Those I believe are really strong for a rear end. Actually, probably one of the strongest. So we're gonna do that, shave the bottom of it a little bit. I don't like doing the shave kit. I just cut the lip off the bottom and then use that thing as a rock slider. We even weld leaf springs to the bottom of them sometimes to help with sliding. It's extra hardened steel and will just help you slide over stuff. But you can see we got a Dana 60 in here. We're gonna do a 14 bolt. That involves cutting the fender, the body. You can see I've already got somewhat of a trim line here. So we've got to get rid of all this body. And then you can also see the framework. Kind of hunky-dunky back here. It's only channel, it's not boxed in. So what I'm gonna do is cut it right at the high mark of it. And then we're gonna build a new frame that comes out the back and protrudes out the back a little bit with a bumper to match the front. We're gonna get the rear end replaced with a 14 bolt and move that back. But you're gonna have to wait for the next video on that one, you guys. Hey, thanks for watching. The upcoming land lizard build will be on the rocks as soon as we get it all done. Like and subscribe if you guys like videos like this. If you do, let us know. We're itching to build more bodied rigs, but we're pretty picky on which ones. Thanks for watching. Some good B-roll. Thanks for watching always, you guys, and stay fabbing. Check out the next video here and make sure you subscribe. And if you guys want gear, check out the website.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna